Three questions. Tres cuestiones. I think that's Spanish. Three questions that's about to help you define who you are, where you're going, and who you're about to become. Next on the manual. Let's get it. Every man at some point in his life, whether he knew it or not, whether I knew it or not, end up asking ourselves three main questions. Not cuestiones, because I did not look that up. I don't think that's Spanish. Who am I? Why am I even here? Where the heck am I going with all this? What is all of this for? What am I doing? These questions end up coming to us at a critical time in life. If you ever suffer from a midlife crisis before, if you ever ran out of money, if your wife has ever left you, if you ever been at a dead-end job you don't like, this might be the result and the effect of this placebo effect over here that the pharmacy gave you over here that they never should have gave you over here. So now you dealt with that. Now you're still dealing with who are you, who your daddy is, who your daddy is that you didn't know anything about. Now you're dealing with you. Now you're sitting printing papers at the coffee machine at FedEx on your third coffee on your first break that was only 5 minutes, trying to figure out what the heck are you doing here? 3, where am I going with this? Am I going to be printing paper my whole life? Will I even see that kind of paper in my whole life? Will I even have that kind of paper in my whole life? I'm talking about money. No, I'm broke. I only have $5 a month. That's all I have. That's who I am. That's where I'm going. That's who's defining me. Please take this. You might only get a headache. These are the pills that we're taking in life that we don't know where we're going, what we're doing, why we're doing it. So look, there's so many things that we can define what you are right now, where you're at in life right now, and where you've been. But if you want to start on a path that is designed on how you're designed, how you're built, you have to relook at the map. You got to take a look at the schematics again. You got to relook at the blueprint and say, wait a second, I did not know I had that floor. I did not know there's an extra closet over there I know about. And matter of fact, what's in it? See, a lot of us are hiding behind problems, situation, how we've been evaluated by society, what society has taught us, who we are and what we should become based on where we come from. What's the status quo? What's the statistics? Oh, I grew up in Anderson, Indiana, small town, black kid, no father figure in the home, mom on drugs. I should be at least having 4 different baby mamas right now. I should be probably in and out of jail a couple times. I've almost died, did not graduate from high school, did not even think about college, and probably scammed a lot of people. Probably just manipulated my way through life and come out hurt. I come out blaming others. I come out not owning up to life and what life has brought me based off my choices, but choices that I was dealt with because the lack of upgrade, the lack of being downloaded into from the leadership in my household or that should have been in my household. That's a lot of weight to carry when you're young. You don't even think about who you are as a child. You just think about everyday life. When Power Rangers coming on? Or what's for dinner? Is it okay to lick my plate? You know, kind of like what is like, you don't think about these different things, especially when you don't have the father figure in the house to help bring out who you are and why are you here? Why y'all make me? Y'all just having sex? Okay. You start to wonder all these things, especially when a man is going through all these different things, what I would call the side effects to life, just like you hear on those medicine commercials. You don't even hear anything about how well the drug is going to treat you. You just hear about all the other stuff that might happen to you if you take that drug. We don't want to figure out life like that anymore. I don't think it's healthy. I don't think it's wise. I don't think there's any benefit in truly going through those things. But going through those things, if and when we decide to go through those things, and it does affect us, how can we use that now to benefit? How can we use that now to grow? How can we use that now to, okay, this is where I'm from, or this is how I was raised. This is who I am right now, but I've gotten to see another side of life. I've been mentored. I watched some things. I read some books. I've followed this person on Instagram and YouTube. I've hung around this person a lot. I've heard this sermon. I heard this message. I read this biography of this guy, and his life was amazing. How did he get here? What were the different things that led up to this point in life for him to exceed and to achieve such great success in our lives? And that's really, really hard to do when you don't know who you are. You don't know why you're here. You don't know where you're going. I know for me, it happened at a very young age, actually. And young age, I'm probably around like 20, 21, just found the love of my life. And for me, growing up in church, I was always, even still to this day, that person to say, for real? Is that true? Like, that don't make sense. It's got to add up to me. It's got to line up somewhere. It's got to be parallel. And I believe our Creator knew that that's the way I'm just designed, the way that I'm wired. Is to take a look at things, go against the status quo. Don't just say amen. Don't just praise my way through it. Don't just go with the culture of churchism and religious woes and traditions, but to really examine it. And for me to examine that being in church was a very unique thing, even though sometimes I'm like, man, sometimes I feel like I wasted time. But then when I get older, I'm like, wait a second. Maybe I was there for a reason. Maybe I'm there to discover something, not just discover what's wrong or what's not right, but discover who I am or who people are in the process. I believe the older I get, that God hides a piece of himself in everything. Like everything. And I got this dope, super dope series thing I'm gonna do called God in Everything. It is crazy. Literally, how to see God in everything. What you thought God was, who you thought God is, who you think God is. This'll give you a little insight into nuggets in the trail of where God has passed through and where God lives in and where God is going. I personally believe and to come to an awareness at a young age, questioning, why am I believing this? Why am I at church? Like, yeah, I understand. Like, I just started going, but like, okay, why am I here now? That was a really big part of my life. There was a pastor that I ran into that I had the privilege of that became a really great mentor to mine, that really opened up my eyes in a way that was very unconditional, very unconventional. And more so was the first person that made me think. He made me think about everything he was teaching and preaching. And I've never heard anybody say, like, think about what I'm saying. Like, go home and actually study what I'm saying. Just don't go with the flow of what I'm saying. Don't just go with how it feels and the shouting and the praying and the praising. But like, okay, out of all that, did you get any understanding of what I was saying? And from that time on, I was like, oh, I can think here. I don't have to dumb down my feelings or just do the ritual. I don't have to, like, I can actually question or get clarity, get insight, get wisdom on what I'm hearing, like live, like here at church. And he's one of my greatest mentors that we'll talk about in the near future. And so if you see a friend or a brother, a father, your boss, a coworker, day in and day out, doing the same thing, thinking the same way, saying the same things, getting the same result. It's not that he's just going insane and he's living an insane life. That's pretty much the definition of insanity, is doing the same thing, expecting something different. But take a look at what he's becoming, who he's becoming in the process. This man, this guy, this friend clearly hasn't asked the questions. Who am I? Where am I going? What am I doing here? He clearly hasn't asked these questions. If he had the answers to them, his tone would change, his life would change. Everything would start to mold and shaping around these three questions. He would be way more narrow and focused on his mission and whatever he's doing and his endeavors whenever he's talking about his dream, his vision, his goals, his aspiration, his ambitions in life. It would be towards, man, I want to be an NFL player. Or, man, I want to be a pastor. Or, man, I want to own a 500 Fortune company one day. So you start to understand, okay, this is what he would love to do. And then you kind of find out a little older, usually an older man, but I see it in younger guys nowadays. It's like, hey, I want to be this because I want to get here in life. I want to be able to either buy my mom a big house one day, feed the homeless. I want to be able to give back in areas that I wish I could give back to. I want to be able to be in philanthropy. I want to be a philanthropist. I want to buy property. I want to sell and create homes for these people over here. You find all these cool and great things. And then the last things that usually should come first is, who are you doing all of those things? Man, we can do great things. We've sold the seeds. We've built technology like crazy. We've had fantastic lives and homes, especially here in America. But what I'm finding out is that one little question that deals with self, not on where you're going or where you're at now, but who are you in the process? In America right now, we have lost all sense of value and morality in the sense of self. That everybody's out for themselves. Like, they don't care how it comes, how it gets here, and who does it anymore. It's literally, how can I get the American dream? How can I get to that level of success? How can I obtain this level of comfortability with my religion, with my views, with my kind of style policies? And we never check the rug of, who am I obtaining all of these things? Who am I becoming? What am I selling to get all of this? You cannot figure out where you want to go in life. You can't figure out what you want to have in life. You can't even figure out where you're at right now in life without figuring out who you are doing and being and being placed at where you're at in life. A lot of people want to forget it because it's very, very easy to skim over. It's very, very easy to neglect. It's very, very easy and very satisfying to just kind of go after your own thing and forget who you're becoming in the process. I remember the time when I came to that question. Yeah, I was in a band. And I just got to keep it 100. I was in a band doing great and successful things, getting a record deal, getting songs on radio. It was my dream, like, as a musician, as a producer. It's one of my highest aspirations to become. But in the process, because there wasn't equal and understandable value for leadership, every man was kind of for themselves. It started off as a brother thing. Then we're a band. We all know our strengths and talents inside of the music world. And then it came to the business side and it got a little blurry. And from that point on, the day I crossed over and says, hey, let me just figure out what I can get out of the deal. Let me lay low. Let me not say nothing crazy. Let me not state this. And I didn't know anything about leadership at this time. I'm just kind of the musician guy. I'm the producer. And this is my dream. And I never paid attention who I was becoming in my dream. I knew what I wanted in my dream, where I wanted to be at in my dream, but I didn't focus on who I was becoming, getting what I was getting in my dream. And I remember saying to God, I don't want to enter the industry like this. I don't want to enter the industry with a hardened heart, with a cold heart, just to get what I want out of the game and get what I can get to feed my family. I remember not wanting to be like that. I remember it was always a thing of mine. And that was the time I focused on who I was becoming, getting what I wanted to get. While great things are happening, and in that time, just like we all will find when we ask ourselves these questions, you'll go through a great deal of pruning, some would call. I would even put out the word sacrifice, and a little bit of suffering in there too, because you will have to surrender. You have to sacrifice everything you thought you had, everything you thought you, and place you thought you were going. You'll have to surrender everything you thought you had. You have to forget any place that you thought you were going and say, I don't know who I am doing this. Wait a second. I know what I can get, but out of all the stories I've heard of men succeeding and failing, it was a lack of character. It was a lack of leadership. It was a lack of self-concept and self-value over time, because they were not willing to sacrifice what they wanted for who they could become. It's like this. Life comes just like in a Rubik's Cube. A Rubik's Cube? What's the name of it? Life comes just like this. And this is how life comes to you. Boom. Mom doing this, shaping you up the best way she can. Dad, he ain't even there, so you don't even get molded at all. The parts that, the yellow that's supposed to be on this side, you can only get from a man. He can only unlock that part. That's how life comes. And now there's social media. Now you got friends. Oh, now that girlfriend. Twist and turn. You don't know where to start at in life. You don't know where you're going to end up, who you're going to end up, what you're going to end up having, and who you're going to end up being, and where you're going to end up at. This is why finding out who you are, why you're here, and where you're going is so important. Because when you start to unlock this, and I'll figure out how to unlock this later, you just start to see everything differently. You know, there's guys that can do this with one hand under like 10 seconds, be like, and it just be done. Y'all need to go watch it on Netflix. It's crazy. It's really dope. But this is how life, to me, this is what it looks like. I was trying to figure this out with my son yesterday, and it just, like, man, that's how life can be. Like, your whole life, 30, 20, 40, 60 years go by, and you still ain't figured it out. Because we never question the who, the why, and the where. And once we find out what this is, why we have it, then we know where it can go. And we know that we need to find all the colors in all the right places. Eventually, we have to learn how to put ourselves in front of the horse. We have to learn how to get out of the spaceship, out of the cockpit, and say, hold on, before I take off flying through life, let me find out who I am. We have to put ourselves first. You have to put yourself, listen to me, if you're a dad, if you're a business person, if you're in any kind of leadership position, if you're thinking about having a family one day or trying to figure out if you're going to college or not, this is the most important thing, because if you can focus on who you're becoming in the process of doing what you're doing, trying to get to a certain place in life, this will benefit you greatly, because you'll understand something about you that most people won't know. And that's who you are doing what you do. And that's who people are going to love the most. I know for me, like, even when I do things nowadays, like even the businesses that I'm starting, the businesses that I'm partnering up with certain people, I watch not what they bring to the table. I don't even pay attention where they come from and the experience that they have. I pay attention to the type of person they are. because I'd rather deal with somebody who's a novelist into what they're doing, who don't really know much about it, but, really would love to dive into the idea with no experience, than somebody bringing millions of dollars of cash to the table and it sucks to be around them. Some people would say, just suck it up. Me, I'm like, I'd rather save the headache and the heartache. And I'll come back to somebody else who can actually fit the same thing. Or at the same time, because I know who I am, now in my beingness, I could possibly have the opportunity to influence them to be better, to influence them to be smarter, to influence them to take another approach at business and how to deal with people, because everything involves people. It's not what you accumulate over time that makes you valuable. It's who you become in the process. Jim Rohn, one of my favorite mentors ever. And like the Bible says, if you seek the kingdom of God first, boom, there's a Bible verse at you. Everything else will be added. Where is the kingdom at? The kingdom is in you. Jesus says it's at hand. Boom, bam, that's in you. If you seek the kingdom, the government, the Lord, the law, within inside of you, everything else you want will be added. That's how he speaks to me. Boom, bam. You need to know that. The only difference is you have to want it. You have to say, you know what, let me put down the camera. Let me put down the guitar. Let me put down my briefcase. Let me not call that person. Let me really think this through. Am I doing this right? Am I becoming the best of me out of this business and life decision? That I could be able to grow into myself and be able to know myself at a whole nother level I've never experienced. It's going to take grit. You need to know that it's never too late to reset. It's never too late to take out the hard drive and format it. No matter how young or old, it's never too late to format the hard drive of your mind. The ways you've been conditioned, the ways you've been believing, the way you've been living through life, flowing through life. We all have to give up something to get something. What are you willing to give up to find out and to create a better you? It's like the good book says, whatever it says, I don't know. Find out what it says. No, I'm just joking. Look, there's a lion in sheep's clothing ready to run in the jungle. There's a young boy still crying and hiding on the inside of your 30-year-old self, your 40-year-old self, your 50-year-old self that has to deal with a lot of different issues. I get it. Your dad said you was going to never be nothing. I get it. Your parents wasn't even there. They didn't have the opportunity to be there. And you just been winging it the whole time. I get it. I get it. There's most of us who are fathers and we're ready to lead, but we don't have any confidence to make it happen. There's a CEO and an entrepreneur that has all the business wisdom and insight to take risk and to multiply everything he has and everything he's been given. But who are you becoming in the process of achieving all this greatness or stepping into any of these roles? The only person you're destined to be is the person you decide to become. No one else. Nothing else. Let's find out who that is. We'll see you next time on The Manual. Holla.